This video is sponsored by Surfshark. In his initial response to the Twitter message first suggesting that Masters of the Universe Revelation was heading down the wrong path, Kevin Smith said, "As showrunner, I really could have used these story suggestions before we locked the scripts." He may have been sarcastic in saying that, but as it turned out, he was right. They were headed down the wrong path, and really needed to go back to the drawing board. Alas, what happened was that the scripts stayed locked, and they proceeded to make the He-Man equivalent of Star Wars The Last Jedi, starring an entitled, bitter and resentful Teela, featuring guest appearances by the emasculated and remorseful former Masters of the Universe. It was so masterfully subverted that Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson might as well have been behind it. As a result, Revelations was largely rejected by the very audience it was supposed to have been made for. There very clearly is a market demand for more He-Man out there, but how could Kevin Smith and his team misjudge how to deliver on that demand this badly? Well, inadvertently, Kevin Smith himself might have given us the answer. In this video, we will go through the explanation Kevin Smith himself gave, how that affected the outcome of the series, and if there is a way to salvage it at this point. What is certain is that quite a few fans are extremely displeased, to the point where they want to cancel their Netflix accounts and take to the high seas instead. Please note that this is something neither Midnight's Edge, our sponsors, nor any other affiliates condones. Not only is piracy wrong, you are exposing yourself to endless spyware, tracking software and other malware out there on the high seas. And that's on top of all the data that is stolen from you during all your regular browsing. Well, modern problems require modern solutions, and many of them can be found in a VPN, such as the one delivered by this channel sponsor, Surfshark. A VPN, or Virtual Private Network, is a privacy protection tool which guarantees instant online safety and encrypts all data sent via the internet. On top of that, Surfshark allows you to bypass geo-blocking restrictions by changing the country you access the internet from, which also gives you access to 15 different Netflix libraries by simply changing your virtual location. Not only that, outside of the US, Star, the international version of Hulu, comes bundled with Disney+. If you're in the US and change your location to, say, the UK, well then you just might get that too. One of the advantages with Surfshark over many other VPN providers is that it allows one account to be used on unlimited devices. That's part of the reason why Surfshark is the VPN of our choice, and it gets even better. If you type in the code MIDNIGHT when ordering, that triggers an exclusive offer in which you now get 83% off the normal list price, plus 3 extra months for free. Surfshark also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out. Do check out the link in the description below for further details and to order. With that said, let's get back to how Masters of the Universe Revelation could go so wrong. In a video put up on his own YouTube channel, Kevin Smith was asked the question how nervous he was about the fan response to his ideas.
Not very. Honestly, we had the 2 biggest fans in the world working on the show.
So, Kevin Smith wasn't particularly nervous at all, because 2 of his production partners were superfans. One was Rob David at Mattel. He is a man who is deeply steeped in the lore. He is writing the other more children-oriented He-Man series for Netflix, but more importantly, he provided the story and later served as co-writer for a large chunk of DC's recent and excellent Masters of the Universe comic book run. Anyone who has read that know that Rob David is a man who knows his He-Man lore and how to retell it. The other person Kevin Smith leaned on as the voice of the fans was Netflix executive Ted Biaselli, who from now on will be referred to as Teddy.
So between those 2 titans, we called ourselves the 3 Towers of Preternia, I could not fail. I wasn't worried about the reaction of the audience because I knew who the audience was. I was working for the audience. Teddy represented the exact customer we were trying to reach.
There. There we have it. From Kevin Smith's point of view, it was Teddy, more accurately Netflix Ted Biaselli, who represented the exact audience they were trying to reach. That is, in all likelihood, where they went wrong. Ted Biaselli is, by all accounts, genuinely a fan of Masters of the Universe, and a whole host of other 80s properties. He apparently does collect the toys and other merchandise, and he does know the lore, so let's not take that away from him. However, he is by all accounts something else as well, namely an activist. Case in point, when a black He-Man fan expressed disappointment that King Grayskull had been race-bent to become black, as this fan would rather see new original characters instead of getting hand-me-downs. It was Biaselli who answered him, "I hear you, and that will indeed be part of our story too. But a big hurdle when you're introducing a new character to a line of so many well-established characters is that they're bound to be outsiders, and harder to accept as canon, at least for a while. Nobody gives a shit about Sir Laserlot." Note that when Biaselli says nobody gives a shit about Sir Laserlot, he actually means that he doesn't give a shit about Sir Laserlot. Sir Laserlot was created by Jeff Johns, and if adapted the right way, he would become an instant fan favorite. But getting back to King Grayskull, Biaselli continued, "We asked ourselves early on about the need for two giant white blonde dudes in the pantheon of Motu. And honestly, it makes both characters less special in their iconography. I wish I could take credit for being the one with the idea to make Grayskull black. Because now, in the history of all of Champions of Grayskull, a black man has a role of prominence, as opposed to just being the guy with the clamp who's King Randor's bodyguard." So, Ted Biaselli regrets that it wasn't his idea to race-swap King Grayskull. He did race-swap someone else though, because he also commented on Andra, Teela's love interest. Same thing with Andra. She was initially created as a new character. It was my idea to dig into the lore and raise up a character who had a small appearance but a strong following. People have been wanting to see Teela and Andra fight side by side for a while, as opposed to creating a new character that could easily be rejected. Honestly, do we really need two badass redheads? Motu had no women of color, and we saw an opportunity and took it. Why not give little black girls a hero that looks like them? Based on Biaselli's comment here, it would appear that at one point, Andra was a wholly original character, and presumably a black original character. In Biaselli's mind, however, the audience could reject her, so it was his idea to appropriate an existing character into the new original character they were introducing anyway. As a bonus, they got rid of another troublesome redhead in Andra, just like they got rid of a troublesome big blonde white dude in King Grayskull. Take note of Biaselli's reasoning for doing these race swaps, namely that in his mind, audiences might reject an original character that wasn't race swapped. This is a pretty condescending view, and one that says more about him than it does about the audience. In fact, it sets him apart from the audience. A fan he may be, but his attitude and worldview is not shared by the rest of the audience. It would appear that Ted Biaselli, or Teddy, is an activist first and a fan of He-Man only second. Unfortunately, Kevin Smith seemingly did not realize that.
So I never felt scared. I was never like, what's the audience going to say? Because I knew who the audience was. It was Teddy. And Teddy loved every step of the way. And if he didn't love something, he made it so that he did love it. He'd be like, can we do this? Can we add this? I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Great. Like, you know, Marlena in episode, it ain't, it's spoilers. You'll see. Teddy, knowing that since we had his sign off for everything, I was never worried about the audience seeing it, because I'm like, if that guy likes it, everybody's gonna like it.
The problem here is that Teddy was atypical and not representative of the audience they were trying to reach. In making the series for him and for his worldview, they may have pleased professional reviewers who share that worldview, but they alienated the actual audience, which is evidenced by the discrepancy between how critics and audiences review the series. So how could this happen? Why did not Mattel's Rob David object? Why didn't any of the other writers speak up? How could one man be this influential on proceedings? Surely, someone must have seen that Teddy was steering the Titanic right into the iceberg. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs within a group of people in which the desire for harmony or conformity in the group results in irrational or dysfunctional decision-making. It is more likely to occur in groups where there is one dominant opinion leader, and Ted Spiacelli clearly fits that bill. He is, after all, the Netflix representative and the one who ultimately pays the entire bill for it all. Without him, without Netflix, there is no show. If someone of his importance were to get actively involved in a production and have strong opinions on how things should be, it could be very difficult for anyone with an opposing point of view to voice their concerns. Whether it is or not, they may feel their job is on the line. That could lead to self-censorship, and that in turn leads to groupthink, in which bad decisions are made. We cannot say conclusively that that is what happened here, but given Kevin Smith's description of events, it certainly seems likely. There are 5 more episodes to go, so maybe they will subvert expectations again and win fans over in the end. They better hope so, because if that doesn't happen, it will be very difficult to justify further investment into the Masters of the Universe brand, even if it was their own mismanagement that caused audiences to recoil from it. What do you think will happen next, and what do you think of all of this? Let us know in the comments. And before you go, remember that to help bypass quarrelsome geo-blocking restrictions and protect your data, you should get Surfshark VPN. Use our code MIDNIGHT to get 83% off plus 3 extra months for free. Link is in the description.